Now, reforming our education system will require sustained effort from all of us, parents and teachers, federal, state, and local governments. The same is true for the second leg of our competitiveness agenda, and that's a bold and sustainable energy policy. You know, in the past, America's been stirred to action when a new challenge threatened our national security. That was true when German and Japanese armies advanced across Europe and Asia, or when the Soviets launched Sputnik. The energy threat we face today may be less direct, but it is real. Our dependence on foreign oil strains family budgets, and it saps our economy. Oil money pays for the bombs going off from Baghdad to Beirut, and the bombast of dictators from Caracas to Tehran. Our nation will not be secure unless we take that leverage away, and our planet will not be safe unless we move decisively towards a clean energy future. The dangers of inaction are eclipsed only by the opportunities that would come with change. We know the jobs of the 21st century will be created in developing alternative energy. The question is whether these jobs will be created in America, in Michigan, in Flint, or whether they are going to be created overseas. Already, we've seen countries like Germany, Spain, and Brazil reap the benefits of economic growth from clean energy. But we're decades behind in confronting this challenge. George Bush has spent most of his administration denying that we even have a problem and making deals with big oil behind closed doors. And while John McCain deserves credit for speaking out against the threat of climate change, his rhetoric is undercut by a record of voting time and again against important investments in renewable energy. So it's time to make energy security a leading priority. My energy plan will invest $150 billion over the next 10 years to establish a green energy sector that will create up to 5 million jobs over the next 2 decades. 5 million jobs. Good jobs, like the ones I saw in Pennsylvania, where workers that used to work in the steel mill are now working in a transform mill making wind turbines. Or the jobs that will be created when we have plug-in hybrids and electric cars starting to roll off the assembly line right here in Michigan. We will use that money to help manufacturers, particularly in the auto industry, convert to green technology and help workers learn the new skills that they'll need. And unlike George Bush, I won't wait until the 6th year of my presidency to sit down with the automakers. I'll meet them during my campaign, and I will meet them as president to talk about how we're going to build the cars of the future right here in Michigan, right here in America. And when I'm president, we will invest in research and development of every form of alternative energy, solar, wind, and biofuels, as well as technologies that can make coal burn cleanly and nuclear power safe. We will provide incentives to businesses and consumers to save energy and make buildings more efficient. That's how we're going to create jobs that pay well and can't be outsourced. That's how we're going to win back control of our destiny from oil-rich dictators. And that's how we'll solve the problem of $4 a gallon gas, not with another Washington gimmick like John McCain's gas tax holiday that would pad oil company profits while draining away the highway fund that Michigan depends on. Moreover, our commitment to manufacturing can't end with green jobs. That's why I'll end tax breaks that ship jobs overseas and give those tax breaks to companies that are investing in American workers and American jobs. Senator McCain has a different view. He's voted to keep tax incentives that encourage companies to move abroad. He should listen to leaders in Michigan, like Congressman Dingell and Senator Levin and Governor Granholm, who put forward serious proposals to address the crisis in manufacturing. We need to support programs like Michigan's 21st Century Jobs Fund and build on best practices across the country. And that's why I'll create an advanced manufacturing fund to invest in places hit hard by job loss. I'll partner with community colleges so that we're training workers to meet the demands of local industry. And we can't just focus on preserving existing industries. We have to be in the business of encouraging new industries. And that means science, research, and technology. You know, for two centuries, America led the world in innovation. And that's why we ended up leading the world in economic growth. But this administration's hostility to science has taken its toll. At a time when technology is shaping our future, we devote a smaller and smaller share of our national resources to research and development. It's time for America to lead again. I will double federal funding for basic research and make the R&D credit permanent. We can ensure that the discoveries of the 21st century happen in America, in our labs and universities, at places like Kettering and the University of Michigan, Wayne State and Michigan State. We can create and innovate right here in Michigan, right here in America, if we've got the will to do it. Encouraging new industry also means giving more support to American entrepreneurs. Yeah, the other day, Senator McCain gave a speech to the Small Business Summit where he attacked my plan to provide tax relief for the middle class. What he didn't say is that I've also proposed exempting all startup companies from capital gains taxes. In other words, John McCain would tax those companies, and I won't. We will work at every juncture to remove bureaucratic barriers for small and startup businesses. For example, by making the patent process more efficient and reliable. And we'll help with technical support to do everything we can to make sure the next Google or Microsoft is started right here in America, started right here in Flint, Michigan. And we know that America won't be able to compete if skyrocketing costs cause companies like the Big Three to spend $1,500 on health care for every car and condemn millions of Americans to the risk of no coverage. And that's why we need to commit ourselves to electronic medical records that enhance care while lowering costs. We need to invest in biomedical research and stem cell research so that we're at the leading edge of prevention and treatment. And that's why we finally need to pass universal health care so that every American has access to health insurance that they can afford and are getting the preventive services that are key to cutting health care costs. That's what I will do, not 20 years from now or 10 years from now, but by the end of my first term as President of the United States of America.